Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So today's video is the last of my kind of September vlogs. So I'm back in the kitchen doing more food prep. I've been trying to do a bunch of bulk prepping over like the course of September now that I'm feeling better. So I was making some breakfast sausage patties. I'd never made them before, but they seemed pretty easy, so I figured I'd give it a try. So they're gluten-free and plant-based, obviously. And so while I was doing that, I'd also experimented with freezing this plant-based sour cream to see how it would be when it thawed out. So I'd added some seasoning to it. I would say that was not a success that I would repeat, but it was really cheap, so I figured I may as well experiment and then I would know. I wouldn't do it. I also had a soup going for John. This was like a lentil barley soup, I believe, in the crock pot. I kind of just got up that morning and got started right away. So once my patties were all done, I decided to try one, and I think they're actually really good. They're super cheap to make too, so like way cheaper than what it would be to buy them. Like that whole plate probably cost $1.50, so not bad. While I was doing all of that in the kitchen, I got an Amazon package. So this is a food that Marley eats. She's like a grain-free cat. So but our grocery stores do carry some of it, but you can't buy like a whole case of just one kind, and it's a little bit cheaper on Amazon. So I got her the salmon one because that's one of her favorites. And then while I was sick, I was getting some things that were like make cleaning easier. So I had got one of those Swiffer things, and I got some of their Amazon brand Swiffer thing, dry sweepers, I guess they're called. Anyway, I also needed to get some like gluten-free vegan graham crumbs for like cheesecake. They don't sell it at the grocery store, unfortunately, here. I just got some of this lip stuff to replace some that I had ran out of. This is a different flavor though. It's grapefruit mint, and it smells amazing. And then I love this brand cake. It's like very aesthetically pleasing, but it's also smells really good. So I got some of that as well. And then I decided to get out. They came so flat, I wasn't expecting it to be compressed, but I thought I would see how it compares. I would say it's way cheaper than the name brand ones, and maybe they're a tiny bit thinner, but overall I find they've been working fine. And then I was getting really hungry, and when I had cleaned out the freezer a couple days before, I noticed this homemade patty, like burger patty that I had made. So I was thinking I would have that, but then I realized I still had 2 taco shells in the cupboard that needed to get used. So I just ended up using that little bit of burger and making like tacos with it. And then that was great because it used up the 2 things. I'm always trying to use everything up while I'm also doing a big prep. So I had cooked some rice the day before to sit in the fridge to make fried rice with. So I wanted to, or I think I just cooked it that day, sorry. But I usually let it sit for at least a day in the fridge. And then I was making some cauliflower wings, I believe. I was watching a movie on my phone. I don't remember the movie though. I was trying to figure it out from this one little shot, but I can't remember because I've been watching so many movies lately, like old movies. And I went upstairs to check on Marley. She was living her best life, having a big snooze. So cute. And I had sold something on Etsy, so I needed to get that packed and ready to go to the post office. So we keep all of our shipping supplies in the dining room. So I grabbed a box and went downstairs. I'm very happy that this finally sold because I've had it for a few years. And I thought it was really cute. It's not like my style, but I thought this is really cute. Somebody will hopefully appreciate this one day. And finally that day happened. And I was just doing a little bit of work down here. I think I had mentioned in my previous videos that I've been like working down here. It's kind of like our little video store, but there's a big table in there, so I've just been using it as a desk. But there's a TV in there as well, so I've been playing old movies on the TV while I've been down there working on some things. So it's the next morning, and John had been away, but he came home to pack orders and take them to the post office. So he had to leave really early in the morning. So I made us a breakfast sandwich for when he got here, because I figured he wouldn't have eaten any breakfast, and he didn't. It was about an hour and a half drive too. So I made him that, since I had just made the sausage patties and the egg patties. So he really liked it a lot. And then I was having a smoothie, and I got another Amazon package, which I don't know why they didn't just put this in, but this is another one of those easy cleaning things. It's like for scrubbing. Well, I use it to scrub my tub, so I don't have to like get down and do it like I normally do. I was skeptical about whether it would work well or not, but it does actually work really well. And I'm like, I should have done this years ago instead of like breaking my back. But they didn't have any of the refills at the store where we bought it, so I just got one from Amazon. And then for dinner that night, I was just having kind of like a Mexican bowl with some tofu chicken, which was so, so good. And so the next morning when I got up, I usually get up at like 4, so I had a coffee, and then I just decided to get started on food prepping since John wasn't home. It didn't matter how much noise I was making, so I decided to do the fried rice right away. I usually just use a little bit of sesame oil when I make fried rice, but my dad actually used to make Chinese food from scratch when I was a kid. Like, he probably still does, but when I was moving out on my own, he taught me how he makes the fried rice he would make. And so every time I make it, because I still basically make it the same way, just a plant-based version, I always think about him showing me how to make that. But so I just use these frozen mixed vegetables, and instead of chicken, I just cut up little pieces of tofu. And even though it was really early in the morning, once I got it done, I just had a small bowl of it because it smelled so good. Just looking at the footage of that is making me crave it so much too. But I wanted to make a big batch of it and put some in the freezer, so that way it's already ready. And I just checked on Marley to see what she was up to, sleeping, and I had some laundry to fold and put away. So I ended up just staying up there for a little bit and watching a movie. I was watching The Apartment. I had recorded that. I love that movie so much. It had been a really long time since I seen it too. I always forget that Shirley MacLaine has been making movies for so long. She worked with so many people from old Hollywood. It's just kind of cool that she's still here. And then I got another Amazon package, which I was not expecting at all, because they said it wasn't going to be delivered for 3 weeks or something. So, I mean, they could have put it all together, but it's this book by Stephen King. I usually never buy new books, ever. But I've been wanting to read this book for a long, long time, and I always look for it. I never see it, so I just decided to finally cave and buy it. It's about, I think, it takes place in the 70s, I believe, and it's about a haunted amusement park or carnival. I haven't started reading it yet, but I loved the animation on the back, the little map of it. So I was excited to read that, so I thought that would be a good one to read in October for Halloween, spooky season. I also didn't feel too bad about buying a new book because John actually has a bunch of Stephen King books, so I figured, usually I read books and donate them, but I figured after I'm done with it, I could just give it to John for his bookshelf. This book's I guess newer. I think it came out in the 2010s sometime, so I guess it makes sense why I haven't seen it in thrift stores. I don't know, I guess maybe it might be like 10 years old. I don't know. Anyway, I haven't bought a new book for a really long time, so I didn't feel too bad about it. But typically I'll just thrift my books and then I donate them. So like, it's kind of like borrowing. But it's not too long, so I will probably be able to read that pretty quickly. But I was excited to finally have it. So then for dinner that night, I just made a really lazy meal because it was just me. So I had some of the fried rice and I had a couple of spring rolls. And I took some of the breaded cauliflower I had made and just did it in like I think it was pineapple sauce, but maybe orange sauce, like an already pre-made sauce. So it's kind of like pineapple chicken. And it was actually really, really good for oh, okay. I just did it in sweet and sour, I guess. But it was actually really, really good for like a very quickly thrown together thing. And I decided to watch the original Moulin Rouge, which I don't think I had ever seen before. Like I didn't really remember it, but I really liked it a lot. I was feeling festive this morning, so I had a pumpkin coffee. My favorite combo is the pumpkin coffee with this caramel creamer. It's so good. So it's like caramel pumpkin. I might have already mentioned that in some videos, but that's been my like favorite festive drink this season. Usually you can get a pumpkin coffee creamer, but I haven't seen it yet. I haven't looked really hard for it, but when I do my grocery order online, I haven't seen it as an option. So Marley's living her best life as always. I had taken her blanket off this chair to wash it, so that's why she's sleeping in the other room. And then I got a very exciting chef's plate delivery. This isn't sponsored or anything, but I just genuinely like it. I've been having such good experiences with HelloFresh that I was like, I should try some other meal service. So this is, I think, my second or third time getting chef's plate. This one I was mainly got for one thing, so although this was actually amazing, so much better than I expected it would be. But I just substituted the feta with plant-based feta, and I had made a bunch of pesto with basil from my garden, so I substituted that. But this is the one that made me want to get the box because John loves samosas. Like, it's one of his favorite foods. And I had never thought about making like a samosa bowl. So when I saw that, I just thought, you know what, that seems like that would be right up John's alley. So I actually just got 2 of those meals because you can choose, like if you want 2 of one thing, you can just get that. So I just got 2 of those, and then I got that white bean bowl, which I wasn't thinking it was going to be amazing or anything, but it was actually amazing, and I'll definitely be making that again. So it was pretty exciting. But on that night for dinner, I just had more leftover, like I guess almost like a Chipotle bowl. And then I did make another sale. It's so funny. I hadn't really made sales for a while, and then I make 2 in a row, and they're both Christmas themed. But I was so happy to see this go, even more than the mouse, because I had this forever. And it's original from 1984, I think, little cardboard cutouts. It reminds me of the things you'd have in your classroom in elementary. And so finally it sold, so I'm very happy that's going to someone. It was still new in the package too, so very cool. And then the next day I actually got a HelloFresh delivery as well. It just kind of lined up that the meals were really good for both boxes, so I got 2. So I was super excited for this. They call it cottage pie, but it's basically like shepherd's pie with the plant-based matzah. We had that, and it was really good. John actually really, really liked it. Instead of like a ground beef or something, you use farro, which we love farro, but I wouldn't have thought to do that. And then I'm pretty sure we've had this cashew stir fry before, which is so good. I shouldn't say I've never had a meal I didn't like, because I'm sure there's probably one, but I had a lot of meals that I really love. I think we've also had this one before, but not with the turkey. Obviously, we just omit, like, don't get the turkey. you can get Beyond instead, which is what we did. And oh, so good. So it worked out really well because then I had dinners for 6 nights, and John was getting home like the next day, I think. But this is actually one of my favorite meals ever, or some kind of combination of that. But like I've shown it before, but if you're not familiar, basically you just get everything that you need for the meal in a bag. But then in the very bottom, there's ice, and they put like the things that most need to be refrigerated down there just to make sure that everything's fine. I've never had a problem with, like, usually when I get it, the ice packs are still partially frozen. So also not sponsored by HelloFresh, just really love it. And this is actually the first time we were getting it for a little while though, so but I was happy with all of the meals that we got from both of them. So then I was spending some time getting my content organized and kind of planned out and looking at like all the footage I already had to see what videos. So I had been starting to post, and then I was just doing that while I was watching General Hospital. This character was on another soap called All My Children that's not on the air anymore that I used to watch. Not the character, the actor. He's playing a different character, but it just gives me all the feels when I see him because I'm remembering watching that show for so long. So John came home, and he was only gone for a week, but it felt like a long time. And I got a grocery order place, so he picked that up. So we didn't really need very many things, but he got these Justin's peanut butter cups, which are so good. We were watching a movie that night, so I thought that would be a nice treat. And then also they finally have gluten-free English muffins at my grocery store. I was so excited for this. They were so expensive. I think it was like $9 for 6 English muffins, but it's like a real treat because if I eat a regular English muffin, I'll feel sick. So I wanted to get those because I wanted to make us breakfast sandwiches. So I got some hash browns, and I got some cheese slices, got some regular English muffins for John. I got these. These are like one of my favorite gluten-free crackers. There's a butternut squash one, and then there's like a cauliflower cheese one. I guess these are kind of like Cheez-Its, maybe. I think that's what they're called. And then I got some rice crackers as well, which love those rice crackers. And then just a little bit of produce, like for just eating. A couple of bananas for smoothies. And then I got this Laughing Cow plant-based cheese. I used to eat that cheese all the time, but I obviously haven't had it in a really long time, but I saw they had a plant-based version, so that was cool. And then I just got some of these plant-based yogurts, and I got some lemon lime Zevia. So for dinner that night, I was making us the one of the HelloFresh meals, which was so good. I was so excited that John was home and that we were having this good meal together, and we're going to watch a movie. So we watched the movie called The Lost Boys. I hear a lot of people talk about this movie, say they love it. I'd never seen it before. After watching it, I don't know what people are on thinking this is a good movie. This is probably one of the worst movies I've seen in my life. It was like one of the cheesiest, just bad acting. I can't even. After it was over, I looked at John and I was like, how does anybody think this is a good movie? I don't know. Maybe I'm just super harsh, but or maybe people like it because they saw it when they were a kid and it has nostalgia or something, but that is a movie that I will never watch again. The next day we were having the tofu cashew stir fry, which is another one of my favorites. I was just going to have mine with cauliflower rice though, because I had some already made, and I love cauliflower rice so much. I actually like it more than like traditional rice. So I just had that, but I love this one, and it has bok choy in it, which I would never, I don't think I ever tried bok choy until I had HelloFresh meals, but now it's like one of my favorite vegetables. So I was excited that it had that. So I think we might have had that for like a lunch meal. Sometimes we have a bigger, actually a lot of the times we have a bigger meal during like the middle of the day. Kind of prefer that. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. So along the same line, I like eating something smaller at night. So I was making myself these kind of small dinners with some, I kind of had a idea of what might be good. So I was cubing up some tofu, almost like having diced chicken, kind of as a protein. And then I was going to have some like raw vegetables and hummus. And then I was going to do some rice crackers with some of the Laughing Cow cheese. I thought that would be like a nice lighter meal to eat later in the day. I don't even know. I'm not going to get into it, actually. I just thought this would be a better option for me and hopefully help me feel better. So after I got that done, I had a mess to clean up for the day, but I usually kind of take a break around 2 to 3, I just work and get everything done I can until that point. So I made a coffee for myself. It's probably decaf because I usually don't drink caffeine after 12. But Marley usually wakes up around this time as well. So she has big time separation anxiety. So I've been watching older episodes of General Hospital, actually from 1992, and that opening gives me the feels so much. I don't know if any of you, I think some of you have said you used to watch, so that was definitely I think they used that intro actually 70s, 80s, and halfway through the 90s. So then later that night, we had to go out and run a few errands, and I wanted to go to the dollar store. I think I came in here because I wanted to get a new soap dispenser for the bathrooms. The one we have has been leaking, and it's been driving me nuts because I keep having to clean up soap. I noticed that they have wood grain contact paper in again. I love a wood grain contact paper. They didn't have it for a really long time, but I noticed that it looks a little darker than the old stuff. So we're just kind of browsing. We're having a really hard time finding the soap dispenser, and I didn't end up finding one there, which was quite odd. So then we decided to go to Walmart. So we live in a super tiny community. This isn't even the community we live in. We actually have to drive 15 minutes to get to this Walmart, but I always see things like, remember when Walmart looked like this? That's how our Walmart looks now. I'm pretty sure it was probably built in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s, and they just built it and it hasn't been updated since. I am really glad that we went to a Walmart on this particular occasion because we made some pretty good discoveries. So we saw that they're selling the Cadbury plant-based chocolate bars and also some Hershey ones, which I didn't realize I had those there. So that was pretty cool. We had some of the Hershey ones recently, we had some of the Cadbury ones. I don't know if they have Cadbury in the US though. I think it might be like a UK and Canada thing. And then we saw these Hostess chips. These were the chips from the 80s and 90s when we were kids, and then they stopped making them at some point, which was just crazy to see. So we got some of those, and they're really, really good. But then John had already seen this, but I had never seen it. It is the Walmart robot floor cleaner. And I'm curious if any of you have one in your Walmart, because like I said, this is a really small community, and if we have one, I'm assuming most Walmarts would have them by now. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. And then as we were driving home, I was noticing all the leaves were changing. It's such a beautiful view. And then of course, I don't leave Marley very often. So whenever I do leave the house, I come home. The first thing I do is I go check on her. But she was just still crashed. So she was doing fine. So we were watching a movie. I don't remember what movie we watched though, but after the movie got over, I just went to bed because I don't stay up very late because I get up so early. So I just went upstairs, and Marley was up there waiting for me. But I had a little bit of time before I was gonna go to sleep, so I just decided to watch that day's episode of General Hospital because I hadn't watched it before I went to sleep. If I fast forward through the commercials, it's actually only I think it's down to 37 minutes in the hour is the show, and the rest is ads. So it doesn't take long to get through an episode if it's already recorded. But of course, Marley was getting settled, and then I realized I was going to have to reset the box because it wasn't working, but luckily she didn't run away, and we just watched that, went to sleep. So it's the next morning, so I just thought I would show you what we ended up getting the previous night. So we ended up getting a bunch of Halloween candy, because usually it ends up selling out, and we need a lot because we get like 100 kids. So I just put all of that in one bag. I'm sure you guys will see me make the tree bags at some point. But I finally found the pillows that I really wanted. In previous videos I've shown a couple of different ones. These are the ones that I saw in a video someone else made. I was like, I really want those. It does suck that they're so small, but I don't know. I don't think they're worth $5, but I did get 2. So this is the kind of thing I felt like I would regret not getting if I didn't. And I do really like them. I just wish they were like a full-size pillow for $5. But they have a vintage look to me. They almost remind me of like Charlie Brown Halloween. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. I don't know. So they only had 2 in the store. I was like, this is a sign that I need to get them. I did get some glue. I needed new pot holders. I burnt both of the pot holders that I have. And these are the ones that I had because they sort of reminded me a little bit of a vintage pot holder. So I was happy they still had some. And then this is the book that I use to like do a quick journal in and a little photo. I think I've shown that before, but I like it when all of my like journals and things match, so I'm glad they're still making them. And it's super inexpensive. It's like $4 or $5, I think, for that. And then I got some thick gel super glue as well. And then as well as this like, we needed to fix a couple of pieces of tile have broken, so, and they're driving me crazy. So, and then I found correction tape in there for way cheaper than what I normally buy it for. So I decided to give it a try, and it works perfect. And then this is the soap dispenser I ended up getting. Like I said, our Walmart's pretty small, and they didn't have a big selection, so that was like the best option. Little Marley, she's so cute. Having her little snooze. I love when she like wakes up and stretches. She's so cute. So I was putting a load of laundry in to kind of get started for the day. I feel like all I do is laundry sometimes, but it's not actually, and I don't typically do big loads. And then I was still getting everything sorted and organized in terms of like content, like what I already had filmed and everything, and I wanted to start like posting again. So I got super organized, and for some reason I just sat at my vanity, even though I could have been sitting at the desk. I just sat at my vanity, got everything organized, and started editing, and I just sat there for pretty much the whole day, getting all of that done. And then it was afternoon time, so I grabbed a coffee, and then I remembered my laundry. But when I went to go downstairs, John had like put it in the dryer for me and then brought it upstairs, so that was really nice of him. So I just put that away, and then it was time to watch a movie. We've been pretty much watching movies every evening. Like while we eat dinner, we start watching it because I go to sleep early, and if I start, I can't start later. I'll like be falling asleep. So we've been watching last year's TCM Creepy Cinema that I had recorded, like some that we didn't watch last year. So it starts in October, so it's already started when you're seeing this, but while we were waiting for that to start, we were watching the older ones. So we've pretty much been watching mostly classic films that are kind of spooky season related, but we watched Shadow of a Doubt that night, and it was so good. I'd never seen that movie before, but I loved it, so I'll definitely be watching that again soon. But anyway, so that is it for September. The last few days in September I actually took to also spend editing and getting everything organized and stuff. And then I did start vlogging in October a little, so I thought maybe I would do like a vlog every week, maybe in October, so like Vlogtober, but not every day. Once a week I'll post the week's footage, but I think I was gonna try to vlog every day. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon, probably with the Vlogtober week 1 next. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.